Hello and welcome to the Candy Shop. I am Candace and this is my story time, Dating a Narcissist. It has been a minute since I've gone on and done a story time, and I'm a little bit apprehensive. I have trolls that like to comment on my channel. But anyways, so dating a narcissist. So about almost 10 years ago, I guess it would be 10 years ago, working in education for a for-profit school, I met a guy at that job that I thought was nice. Initially, when I started working at the company, he came and he sat in my cubicle and he talked for a little bit, like, oh, what are you doing? Made small talk. But at that time, it was like a lot of different guys coming in my cubicle to talk to me, so I didn't think nothing of it. So then he, a few months later, he sends me a message asking me something about church. We kind of come from the same type of church. So he asked me something about church. So I'm thinking he's good. That was mistake number one. So at that time, I knew he had children. I myself had a son. So I believe at that time I knew that he had two young sons, and that he was no longer with the baby mama. So he seemed nice. We work in the same place. I thought he would be a nice guy to talk to. So I invited him over to my place after hanging out for a little bit, and we had a good time. And so we continued to date. But then I noticed like little things in dealing with him. After finding out he had the two young children, I then find out he has three other older children by another young lady. And so with this young lady, he has a set of twins, and he said that is like having one child because it was twins. So right now we're up to 5. Then I find out he has a 6th child that he just recently found out about. And so I'm dating a man that has 6 kids and 3 baby mamas. And so in dealing with him the whole time, it was off and on. It was a mess. We never made it official. I feel like I was very accommodating. I was willing to deal with him because the kids didn't live with him. So it was nothing. Even if they did live with him, I guess that would have been different. I can't say how it would have been because, like I said, I had a son, and I don't know how it would have been if all 6 was living with him, but none of them lived with him. From time to time, his children came over, but I never had to deal with him except for the younger 2. He would have the younger 2 around me. And so the reason why I call him a narcissist, there were different situations that went on. One particular situation, he texted me in a group text. It was me and another young lady at the time. He did not know that in group text messages, everyone can see each other's numbers and everybody can see that it's a group. So he was, I don't know why he wasn't tech savvy in that sense, but he texted both me and her a dick pic. And when I confronted him, I'm like, oh, so you talking to somebody else? Who else are you sending this picture to? And so he starts to panic. He goes off to some of the other coworkers talking about, I didn't know the iPhone showed all that. I didn't know that you could see all this. And so they're like, yes. And so he tried to apologize for that. He tried to make me think that it was a joke, and he jokingly was sending it to both of us as a joke or whatever. And no, it's not. It wasn't a joke, but little old naive me continued to talk to him. So he then, like, it was times he would go out without me because I liked him. I thought we were actually going to be exclusive, so we were dating. But it was times I would go to sleep. I wake up, look at my phone, see that he's out with some other chicks. He's all in pictures with these other chicks. And one day I asked him, I'm like, hey, like, what's going on here? What are we doing here? Are we, like, I'm not dating you just to play around. Like, I'm dating to have something serious. He was like, well, I like you a lot, but I'm just not ready to be in a relationship. And I should have took heed right there by him saying he's not ready to be in a relationship. But at that time, we dated like 6 months. After the 6 months out, it was a wrap. But at that time, we were hanging out a whole lot. It would be girls calling his phone. Another occasion where a girl texted his phone, basically saying that she wanted to go out she was ready for their date. And he tried to tell me that this girl that was ready for their date was actually talking about meeting him at Ross because she used to shoplift, and instead of talking about it over the phone as shoplifting, they say date as a code word, but she needed him to pick her up to take her to Ross to go steal clothes. Now, do you hear how ridiculous this sounds? And I'm thinking, sir, you want me to believe that yeah, it was just a mess, and it was constant gaslighting. Every time I noticed something or I saw something, the story was changing. It was always like, oh, it's not this, and it's this way, and it's not this, it's this. So he was constantly trying to make me see what he wanted me to see versus what the actual truth was. In the final straw, I had gone out with some friends. I actually wanted to meet up with him, and he was like nowhere to be found. He wasn't answering his phone. So finally he like answered it. I'm like, where are you? I wanted to hang out. I have a babysitter tonight. What's up? Why can't we hang out? And he's like, he was like, well, I was busy. He was like, you can come over now. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I can come over now. Who did you have over? I get to his house and I asked him like, hey, who was in your car? Who did you have over? Where were you at? So he's like, I was at my baby mama's house. And at that point, I just punched him in the face. And that told me I didn't need to be with him. If I ever met a guy that would drive me to the point to physically harm him, then that's not the man for me. But I felt so disrespected because this Negro was coming over my house. He was around my son. I was around his children. I felt like we were working towards being exclusive, and that's the thing. 6 months is too long to be working towards being exclusive, which is another reason why I cut it off. So I just, after that, I told myself, like, I am not talking to this Negro anymore. I'm not dealing with him. He is a ghost to me. That was another thing. His little baby mamas knew about me, and they thought it was just funny that I was just one of his random girls, because he had a couple of random girls, but I was one of them. And with my name being Candace, the younger one called me Candy Girl. So it was like a game to them, whereas I have a child I'm trying to date, and I actually like you, and I'm just straight being played. So never again. He is the reason why I will not, before I got married, I would not date a man with kids. I gave him a chance, and I was taken advantage of, I feel. There was nothing wrong with his children. They were the sweetest little children. I just did not like the baby mamas. I didn't like the baby mama drama. I didn't like the fact that he was still having sex with 2 out of the 3 baby mamas. So it was just too much drama. And I understand if a man does not want to date a woman with children, because if you don't set boundaries, it is going to be some baggage. And this particular guy that I was dating did not set any boundaries. And when I look at the situation now, this Negro was just trying to hit, and that was it. And I fell for the okie doke. That was the one and only time I actually fell for the okie doke, and I talked to somebody longer than I should have. And I learned my lesson. And like the old folks say, I wasn't the first, I wouldn't be the last, and I just got to keep it going. It's always happening. So yeah. But I hope you enjoyed my story time. It was very, very, very short. It's getting hard to find stories because I ended up getting married. The next story may be about my marriage and meeting my husband. Who knows? So I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe to the Candy Shop. Again, this is Candace. Bye-bye.